Hello everybody, welcome back. Here we are for round one. I'm not going to mulligan this hand. We are on the draw, so it is a little bit slower, but, excuse me, it will typically not come to that point. We have been having connectivity issues, just FYI, so we may end up connecting back in and out a couple times. The router that I've got hooked up is starting to go bad. So, yeah, and I'd hardwire into it except for the Ethernet ports on it don't work. So, yeah, done that. But we are waiting for our opponent at this point. I was a little bit late coming back just because food was still cooking. I have finished cooking. I have finished eating already. I eat pretty quickly, so that shouldn't be an issue. But I do have some juice finally. You know, something to drink. Something that I kind of forgot about for the last couple of these. Alright, so it is a control deck. Kind of figured it would be. So, that's pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and play this Marsh Flats, pass the turn, and we'll go from there. So those chokes are going to definitely come in handy here. A lot of people don't have them anymore, so that's a thing. He plays a Stoneforge Mystic at top. Alright, well I'm expecting a Miracles deck now. So, we're going to go ahead and try and land, I think we'll try and land Bob. And I don't think that I'm going to have to worry too much about that. And that being the a way to deal with non-basics. I mean, they could just be a blue-white deck and I'm just not paying attention, but I mean, the chances of that are pretty low. The reason I'm playing Bob over Library here is because he's left up a blue mana, which I can't pay for the Spell Pierce, so it may just be that he wants to be able to top, and I may be actually allowing my opponent to top by playing Bob, as opposed to forcing, yeah, okay. My opponent could have waited until next turn to do that, looked at the top three, done it next turn, and then still been happy. But, ooh, counterbalance. Well, I wonder if you've got a 2 on top. In fact, we can actually find out. So, let's pop this. If he's got the 2 on top, what are you showing us? Okay, so there's the 1 on top. I didn't think he'd actually think to do that, but hey. Alright, so let's go ahead and pop this down. We know that there's the 1 on top. If he's got the force, then we lose this, although I don't think that he's got it just because he hasn't done it yet. Then again, I could be wrong. Do you have a force? Yep, has a force. Got rid of a brainstorm, so he's drawing the top. If he didn't hit a land, then he's going to be a land behind. And we can probably just decay that and move on with life. I hit the land. Alright, so we are going to decay said top. And then we will go ahead and drop this Pride Mage. Yep. Can't counter that one. You could divert it, but you cannot counter it. We are 1 land short of being able to cast Sigarda, so, and with this being gone, it means that forces don't counter it, and with him already using a force, typically the lists only have 3 forces. Excuse me. So I don't think that that'll be too much of an issue there. Let's go ahead and land this little guy. And then from there, we're really only worried about Helm. I really see this as a setup just to kind of go ahead and spend the turn already. Not so much looking for a counter, because this isn't something that you're going to be super worried about unless you are the Helm version. So if he fetches here, we know that he's probably, okay, yeah, I was going to say, we know that he's probably the Helm version. He is operating a land behind again. We've only seen 2, but when you see this, like the heavy blue requirement, the choke should be pretty good. Drawing a card. This must be a Jace. It's the only thing I can think of that he would play right now. Lots of basics. Back to basics. Well, that is a card. Was not expecting this. This will keep all three of these tapped. We do have the mana in order to be able to shoot. Thank you. So, yeah, that'll be fun. Good job. I'm still going to 3 you. Keep this up. I'll be able to deal with that. He did shuffle away his top, so unless he's got a second one in hand, I don't see that happening. Ooh, that hurts. He's got a swords. Okay. So we're at a little bit of an inconvenience here. Not the end of the world. We are a little bit off from being able to do what we want. Still having those connectivity issues. Alright, I'm actually just going to F6. I don't want to do it again just because it could cause an issue. Like if you double F6, if he F6'd and I F6'd and it got to my turn and I didn't realize, like, we just zipped through my turn. So, I'm okay pressing the button, I just don't want to F6 again. Since we are having that problem. Again, an interesting problem to be having, considering that I'm less than 5 feet away from the router. But, alright. So it was worth it for him to get rid of it. Any fetch land will turn into a basic. Let's see, yeah, the Marsh Flats is down there. So we're going to be a little bit limited in that sense, but Stoneforge Mystic, not what we're looking for. Attacking the mana base outright, that's a pretty good plan. But now we play the waiting game, and this is a game that does favor him. Let's take a look at what you got. Terminus, Terminus, Swords. I'm going to take the Swords. No point in not taking the Swords. So it is a Miracles deck, but it's a Miracles deck that's aimed at also having a land denial package in there. So, and remember, this will easily turn into... I'm really surprised that he's playing this. So I can assume he's a 2-color Miracle deck. He found a top. That's pretty good for him. We find a Liliana. I would like any land. I would take any land right now just because I could have played the Bob. 1, 2, 6. Okay. I take that back. I will not take any land. But we do have a black land, so Deathrite Shaman is an active thing. Stoneforge Mystic, that's not very good for us. He's got 2 Terminus in hand, as well as Batterskull. Okay. And he's a land from being away from being able to cast said Batterskull. Alright. Let's go ahead and pop this down. Go get the forest. The Batterskull I'm not going to worry too much about just yet. Oh no, I know what your hand is. You don't even have a blue card for Force of Will. Alright. So, oh, but he found the swords. Okay. Not good for us. Deathrite Shaman does give us a way to deal with that. It will also give us Liliana and Knight, so let's go ahead and pop her down there. Or him. Could be either. Body structure and whatnot. I'm going to guess, just because of that it's a guy. Although it's an elf, so we definitely don't know. That could be long flowy hair and not a cloak. Alright, so down comes the Batterskull. Next turn we get Knight. We'll eat... There. I was going to say, does he not have one? He has burned 3 swords. Here's a Brainstorm. And our Knight is big enough to hold off this, but not this. Not equipped with that. From there we can turn probably the Bayou into another land. I'm probably going to have to run against a card here. Yeah, a card. Again, endgame is right here. I don't think the Knight's going to get it, but, I mean, hey. Alright, that's kind of nice to see. I'm still going to go this route. white with this and drop this knight. So we could swords there. I believe he's got the 2 terminus in hand. That's what he's got. Jace is kind of problematic here. We do have a way to deal with this, although he'll have the ability to just pick up and drop down. Again, I'd rather land this than any of it. Which, if the knight survives, we can do this next turn. There's a terminus. Yep. Yeah, you go ahead and do your thing over there. And even with us lagging behind a little bit on our decisions and whatnot, we're still doing okay as far as time goes. There's a counterbalance. Wasteland. So we know the card in his hand. I'm going to go ahead and play this. He's going to be able to play the Batterskull next turn. I am going to play the Mystic. Yes. I am going to play the Mystic. Why am I playing the Mystic? So that I can get Sword of Fire and Ice. We may lose a whatchamacallit here. We're hoping that he doesn't have a 2 on top, although odds are pretty low that he won't. This is really doing a good job here. If we do find an Abrupt Decay, we can get rid of that, and then we're completely online, and our opponent is in a very, very bad position. So he didn't have a 2 there. We at least got him to burn one of the fetches. Burn both of the fetches. Are we going to get that lucky? Again, I'd rather cheat this into play. Well, the sword. Wow. Let's go ahead and get Sword of Fire and Ice. And, yeah, we'll go from there. Our in-game did shift, if you're wondering, just because we lost the knight, we lost the other thing. And that was a known thing that could happen. Alright. Well, that's good to see. I'm going to actually go for... What color do we want? I could get the Savannah, and then we're out of white sources until we're able to, except for the basic plains. Okay, yeah, that's still in there. To deal with this. But then again, we only have 3 cards left that'll deal with it. 1, 2, 3, yeah. We still have a bird. We still have the Deathrite Shaman. We just reshuffled our library, so I think I'm going to get the Bayou and play the Liliana. Yeah. We're going to hope that he does not have a 3 on top. It's usually a pretty awkward thing to hit with the 3s. Ah, what are you looking for? Still looking for a 3. This only buys us a little bit of time. Does he reveal? Nope. Alright, let's make him sack that. We'll get in for the little bit of damage that we can. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 to put it up. 1 land away from being able to put it down again, which would be super problematic. Found that land, did ya? Yep. Still with the basics. We are only seeing 3 planes, so there's the Batterskull up. There's the Batterskull down. There's the Batterskull. Let's go ahead and land this. If this doesn't get countered, which I'm assuming it won't. Whoa! Revealed yeah, this game is over. We can go ahead and concede there. I wonder why he didn't just counter that. Alright. So, a mainly blue deck with counterbalances. Ooh, I'm so happy you didn't disappear on me. Let's go ahead and snatch these and these. Not so much worried about these. He's going to be operating off the top of his deck. He did have Stone Forges, but I don't think that it'll be enough to actually warrant all of this. Let's just pull that over there. Both those cards are going to be good. Sigarda's going to be good. Knights, not as good, although they will be good for getting out of the lock, but I think I'm going to actually take the Knights out. We're bringing in 4 creatures and taking out 3 at this point. So, let's see. Mazovitz still will be good as he's running that stuff. We're going to be on Basics Horror mode. Let's see. This is a lot of stuff, and I don't want to take out a lot. It's a very interesting situation. I think that I can count on the stuff that I have in order to actually be able to, because I'm still left with, well, I think that'll probably be good to come out. That'll give me 5 pieces of removal, which seems a little bit low. Oh. 2 more cards. I'll take a Mystic, and these will be good against the back to basics. But the bird will not be as good. We'll take it like that. So, our requirements change a little bit, but we should be fine. Let's go ahead and submit. And yes, I'd like to play first. This hand is actually pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and keep this. No wastelands, but yes on the back to basics. Let's go ahead and get a basic and start this process. I'm going to go ahead and take this one, and we know that Liliana is going to be good. His hand is Tundra, Plow, Marsh Flats, Strand, Explosives, and Misty, and now an X. So that's pretty nice. Let's go ahead and pop this. Go get the Forest. So now we have answers to a lot of the different things. He's got an EE for 2 at this point. Otherwise, we're just going to get to start abusing things. There we go. I think we will take both cards depending on what they are. Disenchant. Well, that was an interesting thing to have seen. I'm going to play this little guy. I know that he's just going to get swords, but there aren't very many options at this point. I could have gotten the Bayou, but I was trying to make sure that I don't get basically drowned out. And let's go ahead and get in there at least. I'm going to play the Bog. I don't foresee him actually doing very much over there this turn. And at least it looks like we're keeping up Abrupt Decay. That disenchant was very timely. Good news is, from what I've seen from his deck, he won't be able to EE this off. He has to Swords this. He can't just deal with it the normal way. And we have Liliana mana, so trying to save white sources until I can't, basically. That would be very nice. Click. Not exactly what I want to see, but it is what I'm going to see. So he'll see these two, probably taking the Liliana. Yep. So we have a Duress now. Let's go ahead and take a look. I'm assuming he's debating brainstorming at this point, not actually countering, but brainstorming. We should still be able to beat that. Detention Sphere and EE. Well, that kind of sucks. If I take this, waste him, he'd have to pop for Detention Sphere, draw land. Yeah, that'll work. And we can still get in for 1. Alright. So his hand now is Sphere, Explosive, and Entreat. And we still have our white source. With any luck, we'll draw Choke, like flip into Swords, hit Choke, and he'll tap out for Detention Sphere and accidentally click his own guy. I drew another sword. No, wait, I took the swords. Didn't I? Yeah, I took the swords. So he drew another swords. That's twice, my friend. That's twice. We hit a Bayou. I'm going to go ahead and draw a card here. I know I'm getting rid of my only white source, but I'm kind of running out of options. Provided we actually get that ability. Alright, we hit a Goyf. Goyf is good. Let's go ahead and drop that. Goyf is at least sizable enough that he can deal some real damage. Unfortunately, he can just Detention Sphere Goyf. I don't want to tap you, so if you go to tap, I'm going to be a little disappointed. So, let's go ahead and hit OK. I guess it just didn't register my F6. We are losing a lot of time to this. Kind of readjusting my position. So if you hear me sliding around the laptop, that's what's going on. Alright, I'm going to pause this and reconnect. Alright, we're back. Let's go ahead and hit OK, and then we'll get in. So I'm expecting either EE or Detention Sphere. Come down and take that. If it's Sphere, we're still not dead yet. He's got 3 lands. Eventually he'll draw more. We've got more lands, so Ponder, yeah, that'll be another land here shortly. He gets to keep whatever the best card is and get rid of the other 2 unless he really wants one of them. But then he takes a ton from Goyf. And I guess over the course of 2 turns he's still ahead because he could just get rid of this next turn. You did not draw another swords. Okay. That is not the greatest, but it will be a white source later, so let's just get that down. Again, back to basics would be really, really, really annoying. You gonna pop that? Did you want those cards? You did want those cards. Stoneforge, Detention Sphere, okay. Yep. So now he jumps in the lead. We tie up with him. Yeah, I can actually fetch that with no problem, so I will. Go get a white source here. Give me this scrub land. That's a really good one. His hand, what is his hand? EE and the other card. Okay, that's awesome. Which EE can't get this. EE is non-land permanent, and to our knowledge right now, he can't get to 3. So we actually get to kill his clock, draw another card, and avoid Jace. He's got 2 swords in the yard already. So, yeah. That is not a swords. You are not that good. And there's a Thoughtseize. Alright. So we get to start dealing. I guess I should have shot him. If I shoot him, if this is a brainstorm on top, then we lose this guy, which means that I should have kept the land. If it's a back to basics, he needs another land as well, which could easily happen, mind you. But we get to Thoughtseize him this next turn and take the entreat, hopefully. Yeah, game's over. Okay. Alright, so he went into the all removal plan and a couple dudes. We do have to re-sideboard. That sucks. Chokes, Thalias. Let's go those. I think I will keep the swords if I can. The knights I'm still gonna cut. Cut a mystic. Oh yeah, the Teagues. I almost forgot the Teagues. Whoops, wrong pile. You know what? I lied. I'm going to take the swords. I know he's got that stuff over there, but I digress. We'll take the bird as well still. So this is pretty much what I sideboarded the last time. We're going to be on the draw. Let's go ahead and sort that by name. And on the draw, we're definitely going to want this. We may actually want some number of swords, but I think that for right now we should be okay. Yeah. Hopefully we get a pretty good hand. It's not bad. This hand is not the greatest, but it's not bad. I am going to be fetching a non-basic. Depending on what we see, we're going to Thoughtseize in first turn, which I typically don't advise for this situation. Eek. Surgical extraction. Like typically against these style decks, I say hold this until like turn 3 or so, and then go from there. This hand is not going to be the greatest. I'm going to take the Detention Sphere. It's a way for him to kill Bob, and I'd like to be able to hold this for like, well, for that card. You know which card I'm talking about. So I'm not expecting to see another one of these. This has been a pretty good first turn for him. We do have 2 shuffle effects. Okay. It's like my thingy's not working. Let's go ahead and get a basic here. I'm going to get basic forest. And play this Bob. So there's the plains. I'm assuming that he did not draw swords. Nope. He may have a back to basics now. But if he has a back to basics, we're 1 color off from being able to get out of it this time. I did let him draw on purpose. A ponder. If I remember correctly, it was 2 different fetch lands. Flooded Strand Delta, yeah. Chose to shuffle their library. Okay. So Bob may be netting us some cards. Looking. Again, he's got that fetch land in hand, so he can get out of this. The thing is that if he does it for a Tundra, I wasteland him. Alright, that's pretty nice to see. Let's go ahead and get across. I know I'm flooding the board with creatures, but there are some things that have to be done. We're going to go for the black here. Can get that out of the way. This may be for a brainstorm in order to hide. If it is, we're going to shuffle his library for him. Yep. So we're going to shuffle his library. The choice now is what do we take, and I think in this case we take the brainstorms so that he can't hide anything again. If we see a miracle, we'll take that. He doesn't know that we have the ability to shuffle his library. If we see a swords, we're definitely going to take that. So keep that in mind. Priority for cards would be swords, because next turn if we draw a Zenith, we'll be able to Zenith Fatigue, shut him out of most of the game. EEs will be rendered mute, Jace will be gone, and a bunch of other things will be gone, and that's what we want. That being said, we'd like to finish out getting our colors. Didn't want to have to fetch a non-basic, but we're kind of in that position where we didn't have a choice. I wouldn't mind seeing the choke either, seeing his mana base. But we will find that when we find it, if we find it. Usually with 3, you're almost guaranteed to find 1. 2 of them, it's not so well. And that's because the games go so long. Like, you'd think that you would find them no matter what with how long these games go. They'll go till about turn 7, 8, or even 9. And I guess, like, right now we're on turn 3. And it looks like this. Usually the games are decided by this point in time. A little bit later because it's a mid-range versus a late game. But, yeah, we're going to find out his hand here in a moment. Jace, rest in peace. I'm going to take the Jace. He can't helm this turn. We're going to steal said Jaces. Alright. Okay. Let's go ahead and pop you down. And you... Which one? I guess it really doesn't matter. He's going to be playing Island next turn anyway. If we could have killed the Jace, I would have definitely left him with the Jace. He would have probably played the Jace, bounce the Bob. But he can't rest in peace this turn and helm us. And we have an answer for that. So we're not exactly working out of the graveyard, but we are. And depending on what happens here, I may end up just taking the rest in peace. Although we did thin his deck, keep that in mind. Terminus could really hurt us, although it more so just buys him time. There's not a Terminus on top. Drew a card. There's a swords. Okay. So the swords are in the yard. Good to see. Elspeth, we can definitely take advantage of. So let's pop there. We want a white. I'm going to keep that up. And a white. Come on, tap. Because I just want you to play this card. We'll put a token out there. So there's a real clock applied. Let's go ahead and take care of this. Let's see here. How many helms is he playing? Do you see a helm? Oh, wrong button. I know his hand, so that can go away for right now. So let's see. We have 1 counter spell, 1 force of will, 2 spell pierce. So spells should be fine. Don't be afraid to just play spells. 3 terminus. That could be annoying. A second rest in peace. Looks like his wing conditions are now the 2 entreat the angels. If we get to land Teague, we land it. He's got no way to deal with it. This and the Stoneforge Mystics into Batterskull? Yeah. Okay. And no way to play stuff out of the graveyard. And he's off the top randomly now. So let's toss those back up there. Okay. Alright. And if he plays... I didn't actually look for the back to basics. I may have been playing around it for no point. If anybody else saw that, I'm sorry. I forgot to look for it. There's the rest in peace. Yep. Which, that is not our game plan. What are we afraid of at this point? We're afraid of flying tokens of death. We're afraid of timing out. Let's go ahead and pump this little guy. Come on. We are still going to play Bob. We know his hand was Island and this and something else. I forgot what it was now. So let's just go ahead and get across. Let's see. 6 damage isn't going to change it much more. I'm going to hold the Bob, because getting in for 6 every turn doesn't change it very much, and 8 at this turn is still, it's going to take the same amount of time. So, wait, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm an idiot, I'm an idiot, I'm an idiot, and I'm sorry. I should have gotten in with this and then played this still. Stoneforge Mystic. We're still jumping the Batterskull. We have an answer for it, so yeah. Alright, let's jump this little guy again. Let's pop Bob down. And you as well. So let's see. We get to jump this guy, and then the next turn we get to jump this guy again. Or we get to swing all out. Jump this guy, swing all out. If he blocks, and that'll be a thing. We'll let damage go through. We're going to get to see another card. That's the important thing. Second Stoneforge Mystic, that's not good. Let's see, Sword of Feast and Famine would be... He didn't grab anything, so shuffle effect only. But that kills the original plan. Green Sun Zenith, that doesn't. I don't remember seeing a helm, so just FYI. So now we jump Bob. So that's 5. All 3 of these would need to connect. We'll lose the Soldier. But he can't pop this. Otherwise he goes to 1. Or he goes to none. So we'll lose the Soldier. Sigarda's still in the list, but we shouldn't be able to die at this point. Yeah. Alright, so we pulled that out. 5 minutes left. What were we going to hit? There's the choke. So, painful turn next one. He had the disenchant in hand, but we didn't have any enchantments. And yeah, so that's where we're sitting. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here. Hope you guys have had fun. Never really became a factor. Just kind of overran, and that seemed to have been the better choice. Alright. Have a good one.